Welcome to Solutions Rising. I'm Rachel Branch. This is our second program about Second Street Second Chances, and I am delighted to welcome Sgt Lindsay Maynard of Second Street Second Chances and Mr. Jason Cuyler, the program's executive director. Second Street is one of the many innovative programs of the Berkshire County House of Corrections. It is a real pleasure to welcome you both, Sgt Maynard.
Thanks
Lindsay,
for having us.
Yes, Lindsay, if I may, and Mr. Cuyler. Jason, welcome back.
Thank you, Rachel.
Will you please tell us briefly about Second Street Second Chances and how this innovative program of the Berkshire House of Corrections came into being for formerly incarcerated individuals?
Absolutely. So the program originally was started in the fall of 2022 is when we started talking about reentry services for aftercare and reentry services for men and women that are being released from the House of Correction and the Chicopee Women's Facility. The men and women do a lot of work when they're behind the wall. After they get engaged in substance abuse and mental health and education services, and they do a really, really good job doing that. And where some of the gray areas are is transitioning from behind the wall at the House of Correction or the Chicopee Women's Facility back to the Berkshire County community. And we got a group of people together from the Berkshire County Sheriff's Office, from Berkshire Health Systems, Berkshire Museum, Community Legal Aid, the BIC, Berkshire Innovation Center, and Berkshire Community College. And we started out as a work group, and the work group was just discussing some of the issues that may arise when men and women are returning to the community. And most importantly, when we developed this work group, we had some formerly incarcerated individuals that partook in the process of designing the Second Street program. When we started out early on, we got together and we really started taking a look at what we can do to help people transition back to the community successfully. Mark Gold was actually, an inspiration behind the whole development of Second Street.
He's someone I need to meet.
Yes.
I have heard about him, yes.
A wonderful gentleman, an attorney, pretty successful attorney, semi-retired I call it now, and had actually asked to meet with the sheriff just to see what we could do in order to help the transition period. And the work group was formed, and we decided to go for the empowerment grant through the state of Massachusetts, and we were awarded that grant for $240,000. And then moving forward, we applied for the ARPA funds through the city of Pittsfield, and we were awarded $700,000 for 3 years. It got really real, and we, obviously we formed a board. We are a 501c3, and what we do at Second Street is we provide wraparound services for men and women that are getting out and returning to the community. We like to refer to it as hand-holding, being a support system for men and women, and really trying to help them through that transition period. What a lot of people really don't understand is that most of the people that are currently serving time in a county facility are returning to the community one way or the other. And we feel that the best way to have men and women return is to provide them with the tools and the skills necessary in order to live a successful, productive life.
And for those in our community, this strengthens our whole community. It's not them or us. And of course today we're going to talk specifically about women and girls. And it's really about strengthening all of our communities by understanding and assisting people who've had some tough times in their lives and are putting them back together.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, absolutely. And if I could just say just one thing, just regarding our community. They have been very wonderful to Second Street, meaning that we receive a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails from community agencies, just asking how they can get involved and how they can help. And I think that we sometimes take for granted what we have here in Berkshire County. When we really need to pull together, we do so. And I think that it's been a blessing for us through this process. being able to lean on the community, the other community agencies, the community providers, and really they have been really helpful through this process.
Well, now I would like you to invite our very special guest, Sgt Lindsay Maynard, who's going to talk about the really strong part of the program that is going on at 2nd Street Second Chances.
Absolutely.
So I would like you to introduce her.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So this is Sgt Lindsay Maynard, and again, we just would like to thank you for having us both here to talk about the services that we offer at 2nd Street. Lindsay's been with the Sheriff's Office for approximately 9 years, going on 10, and does an exceptionally well job, a really good job helping women transition from the Chicopee Women's Facility back to the Berkshire County community. And it's just amazing. The amazing part about it is, when Lindsay gets to work at 7 in the morning, her phone is ringing. And before she leaves at 3, her phone is ringing. And I know that she takes calls after hours as well. So, the one thing that I have to say about Sgt Maynard is that, her heart is really in it. And she has had a lot of success when returning women to the community. I say women, but she also works with men.
Oh, okay.
And primarily with women. But I just say it's a godsend to be able to watch her operate and really connect to our clients and really help them navigate through the community.
Would you tell us a little bit about your background and how you wound up at 2nd Street Second Chances?
Absolutely. Thanks, Jay. That was very kind of you.
You're welcome.
And deserved.
I have to tease them.
It's probably embarrassing you, but it's deserved.
That's okay. So I started, 2014. I had I went to Springfield College to complete my master's degree in clinical mental health counseling. And part of my master's program was a 600-hour long internship that I had to complete in order to, finish the program. So we got to choose you could work in a hospital, you could work in an outpatient facility. It was all mental health based. So my advisor had told me she thought that the Women's Correctional Center in Chicopee would be a good fit for me. So that's kind of how I got my foot in the door with the correction side of things. So I ended up graduating 2014 with my master's in clinical mental health counseling. And then I applied to the Berkshire County Jail and House of Corrections. They were hiring for a reentry case manager position. So I applied, I got the job. I worked roughly for 12 months under that reentry grant, which wasn't renewed. And then it was based on funding, and so the grant
always is.
Yeah, absolutely. So the grant ran up, and simultaneously, I think my luck has been absolutely impeccable. Timing is like a beautiful thing sometimes. So I applied to the Women's Correctional Center, who happened to have 4 openings for a correctional caseworker position. Got the job there.
Now, this is in Chicopee?
This is in Hampden County, yep. So I transferred from Berkshire County to Hampden County. And I went through the academy. In Hampden County, when you're a caseworker or a counselor, you also go through the academy. Ultimately, just doubles their security staff.
Are you talking about police academy?
No, correctional officers. So it's the Western Massachusetts Correctional Officers Academy.
Okay.
So that was a 10-week academy. I finished that, and then I worked at the Women's Correctional Center for 3 years. In end of 2017, one of my coworkers that still works at Berkshire was like, hey, we have a position open. We'd love for you, you should come apply to it. It'd be really cool for you to come back. For me, as far as family goes, I had 2 nephews on the way. It worked out for me to be closer to home. Driving an hour was getting kind of tedious. So I ended up transferring back to Berkshire. So in December of 2017, I transferred back. It was a lateral transfer from Hampden to Berkshire. And I've been doing pretty much for the most part women's reentry and aftercare since then. So the sheriff, thought it was very important that we stay connected to the women who are in the Chicopee facility, and that make sure that they, build that rapport with me, that they establish connections to their community prior to release. And then the idea was that I would continue working with them post-release on aftercare services. So that was my position. That's been my position since December of 2017.
So you already had some rapport from being in Chicopee with some of these women?
Yeah. So it was convenient, and it was nice too. Even when I worked in the facility for those 3 years, when women would tell me they worked or they lived in Berkshire County, I would say, I'm from Berkshire County too, and it just kind of like they'd light up a little bit, like a little sense of a connection, like a piece of home, like familiarity in a sense. So, but yeah, I honestly, I loved working. I worked for both Sheriff Ash and Sheriff Kochi, both wonderful sheriffs. And then, happy to work for Sheriff Bowler here. Honestly, for me, in working in my own community is more important to me. And not that working in any other community within the state isn't, but it's nice to be at home in my own local community where my family is, where I grew up, and to be doing this work. It's important work too. So I've since 2017, I've been traveling to the Women's Correctional Center. I go there weekly, depending on the numbers, sometimes twice a week. And then I do reentry case management behind the wall. So that looks different for everybody based on needs. The majority of my clients struggle with substance use disorder and mental illness. So a lot of times it's connecting them to the appropriate resources in our community, or connecting them to the appropriate resources in other communities if they're planning to go away for treatment. So again, everyone's different, and that looks different for everybody. Sometimes I meet with people and they say, hey, thanks for the information. Really cool to know that this program exists. This program is in our community, but I don't need any help. I have a home, I have family, I have supports. Made a stupid mistake. Other women are starting fresh and starting new, and if nothing more than the clothes that they came in with on their back. So, like I said, that work is a little different for everybody. And then, after they leave the facility, the idea is that I continue working with them in the community at 2nd Street. So
that's
yeah.
That's
the
segue right
connection.
into
Yeah,
that,
that's-
Jason.
absolutely.
How did you two become connected
So,
at 2nd Street?
So I think we originally, when Lindsay made reference to being at the sheriff's office in the reentry program several years ago, that's when we first started. I was a case manager working inside of the facility, and Lindsay was doing aftercare services outside of the facility. So I think that was our first, the first time that we had met. And then, fast forwarding, when she went down to Chicopee Women's Facility, staff at our facility stayed in contact with her, and we suggested that she come back. I think that
A little pressure there?
A little pressure.
No, I mean, yeah.
I think it's great.
Must come back.
I think it's great planning on our part. That's a joke, but
Yes, of course.
it happened organically, and I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
I think that it gave Lindsay the opportunity to go down and learn the ins and outs of the Chicopee Women's Facility, with an understanding of how the Berkshire County community operates. So that way, she had a lot of contacts here in Berkshire County while working in Hamden, and then Chicopee, and we actually brought her back. The sheriff actually brought her back here, which I think is, we couldn't have planned it any better.
I think you have an impeccable background. I mean, it couldn't be a better
The timing
fit.
was perfect all the way around.
Timing matters, but also
it really does, yeah.
what you have put together.
Oh,
and
absolutely. I've
Your
been very
background, educationally, and experience,
Yeah.
and hands-on, I think,
Yeah.
is really, really important.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So can we talk a little bit about what's actually happening on 2nd Street and Second Chances? What is happening with the women that you're working with?
Yeah. So we try to make things interesting and as fun as possible, and find different ways to meet our clients where they're at. So, like Jason said before, part of our board of directors are formerly incarcerated individuals, and so their input is very valuable to us in understanding our clients and better serving the population that we serve. So, so I facilitate. So there's a women's aftercare group that's been in existence since 2009. It was formerly run by our coworker Patty Kelly. She was the case manager in the women's unit when the women were housed here in Pittsfield. And so when I transitioned to this position, I had adopted the women's aftercare group. So that's kind of a staple in the aftercare piece, I think. They've kind of established this sense of community within themselves. And there's a lot of peer level support that occurs that neither Jason or I could really provide, just based on them sharing personal experiences or similar personal experiences. So they've kind of created that culture for 2nd Street. And so I selfishly, when we started this, I remember saying to Jay, like, we got to do women's services. Something that people don't often hear or know about is the lack of, for instance, there is no long-term residential treatment program for women in our community. There is dual diagnosis program here in North Adams, which is the Keenan House North. Phenomenal program. They're great to work with. However, it's co-ed, and for a lot of women who have extensive trauma histories with codependency issues, they struggle in existing in treatment programs like that with men and be successful.
And
so
there are other facets to that.
Yeah,
also,
absolutely.
What
So
has happened in their lives, and the trauma and violence they've suffered.
Absolutely, and whether it's conducive to their treatment, if it sets the tone for the best treatment environment. So, I said to Jason, I'm like, we need to do something and have this program where women feel comfortable and they come to access our services. So the Women's Aftercare Group has been huge in lending us their feedback as to the things that they would enjoy or having. I have clients that access Second Street that I've been working with for the 9 years that I've been doing this work. So their inputs is valuable, but it makes it easier for us to do our job too, and so that we're having helpful programs. And so something that I'm currently working on with a program called Jana's Place in Worcester. It is a shelter for survivors of human trafficking. It is a survivor-led program. My former supervisor in Chicopee while I was doing aftercare, Sister Mary Quinn, she's since passed away, was a tremendous part of getting these services, these survivors services for human trafficking, for counseling, for clinical work, for shelters and programming. So currently I'm working with them.
I would really like to invite someone from Jana's Place to come back with you and talk about that. Because all this is connected. I really believe there's a worldwide assault on women and girls right now, and others.
Absolutely, and children too. And I think I think it's one of those things that people are unaware of, but it's also uncomfortable. And so
very uncomfortable.
To learn about it feels uncomfortable, however it is happening. And so currently what we're doing is they've had some staffing changes, and of course we're really busy, and there's like a million moving parts at the center, but we're starting that conversation about having them facilitate a group which is called LIFT. It's Living in Freedom Together. Have them facilitate that group here. I'm hoping to be able to get it up and running by fall, and it will be like a train the trainer type of thing. So we'd be hiring a per diem staff. She is a survivor of human trafficking, and she would be facilitating the survivor-led group for women who are survivors of human trafficking or maybe still in the midst of it. And I think that piece is significant in the fact that people don't realize that women who are struggling with substance use disorder are also victims of human trafficking, that unfortunately the situations that they're in based on their addiction and that survival has put them in some really dangerous positions and some cycles that it's really almost impossible to get out of. So that's something, going to definitely involve the DA's office and things of that nature in the court, because they do a lot for victims of crimes and for victims in the community. So those are like some of the happenings that are going on. We've done a women's mindfulness group that was facilitated by a retired social worker who was it was actually a friend of mine's mom who was looking to come to Second Street. She was very interested in the program and the work that we were doing, and so she was facilitating like a women's mindfulness group.
And what does that mean? Are you doing like any meditative things?
Yeah, so most of it was like
calming aspects.
Yeah, most of it's like just base level DBT, dialectical behavior therapy. So it's meditation, it's focusing on the here and now, breathing techniques.
What does dialectical mean?
Oh goodness, that's a good question, Rachel. That is a good question.
A stumper.
It is a stumper.
A type of therapy that is it taking into the whole.
So it's trauma focused, and it's mostly trauma focused, and it's also.
It's a type of trauma-informed therapy then?
It is. However, I think the start of DBT was specifically for people who struggle with borderline personality disorder.
Oh, okay.
And so it's dealing with emotions. It's emotional regulation, right? So it's getting through the day and using techniques like mindfulness and meditation to control emotions, not let external factors affect it. I think sometimes, impulsiveness is something that's kind of tied to substance use disorder and trauma in a lot of ways. Attention-seeking behaviors and emotion dysregulation is not uncommon. And so DBT and this mindfulness group helped the women who participated to learn skills like, counting backwards and taking deep breaths. focusing on the here and now.
Breaking the trauma
Yeah.
is what you're doing, breaking the trauma
Absolutely.
up so you can live.
Yeah, and then also like looking at exactly what's in front of you versus the giant picture, right? And I think that you know, the slogan "One day at a time" kind of attests to that as well.
Oh, yes, yes. And of course, one of the things I say is all any of us have is today. Make today the best that you can.
Absolutely.
And I think people who've been traumatized, very frightened from the past, are very frightened about the future.
Yeah.
So if you can be present, you can move,
Yeah.
I think, and move forward
Yeah.
and find some calm and some breathing
Yeah.
and some clarity, frankly, in your lives.
Yeah, and I think you know, for a lot of the women that I help in the community, their lives, some of them, their lives are very well put together, and they've come a long way from where they used to be, and a lot of other women's lives are still very disheveled and chaotic and
And there's
unhealthy,
no right way
you know?
for any of them.
No.
It's an individual reaction of how anybody who's
Absolutely.
been traumatized or suffered from violence, how they're going to survive. And that there is no right way, as far as I know.
No.
It's each person individually has to go along that journey, but hopefully have a program like what you have is just astounding.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think that's important too. And when we work with people, is treating each person as an individual, and no two people are the same. That goes for men and women. But you know, no one wants to be grouped into a big, big giant ball, right? I mean, we're all individuals, and we want to be treated as that. So. We're still just looking at, the human trafficking resource, so that group will be up and running. The nice thing about that LIFT, Living in Freedom Together, which is facilitated through Jana's Place in Worcester, is actually facilitated inside the Women's Correctional Center. So that group, the women have access to, whether they're pretrial or sentenced or no matter what county they're from, they have access to that program while they're incarcerated. So it's nice, it'll be a nice segue from incarceration to the community if they're engaging in that program.
This is just
Yeah,
incredible
it's
what
good
you're
stuff.
doing.
Yeah.
I know we're coming down towards the end. I'd love to have each of you, we had about 5 more minutes. Each of you talk, it goes fast, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it does.
Each of
It
you
does.
talk, any final comments you'd like to make or something you'd like to specifically say? I'm just blown away by what you're doing.
Yeah, I think for me the takeaway is, I don't know that I know a single family that hasn't been faced with the struggle of addiction in some way, shape, or form. I know that I've lost family members to addiction, and so
have I.
And I think that most families can say that. You know what I mean? It does not discriminate.
It's a horrible, horrible illness.
It
with
is.
all kinds of ramifications that make it hard to get out from under, so that you can go forward positively, because you're dragged down by everything that the addiction has caused.
Yes,
I think.
absolutely. So I think it's important to know that, this could happen to anybody. It does not discriminate, and that these, again, like Jason said before, there are community members, or our neighbors, or our family members. They might be your cousin or his brother or whoever. They're still returning to our community, and in order for us to make our community safer, providing people with maybe some of the skills they were never taught before is important. And so that's what we're doing, is just trying to give people a leg up when maybe they, were kind of already starting at the bottom and trying to claw their way to the top. So that's, they're returning to our community, whether we like it or not, and we need to help them.
You can't say not in my backyard, because it is in everybody's backyard.
Every single neighborhood. So
And
the work is important, and I'm just grateful to be a part of it, honestly.
Oh, gosh. I'm just honored that you've come here and really told. I didn't know the depth of the program, and of course, I want you to
Thank you
come
for
back.
having us. Yeah.
Oh,
no, the
thrilled.
more that we can spread about what we do, and also the struggles that people within our community face, is important work. So
this is about our community health
Absolutely.
and well-being.
Absolutely.
And Jason.
So I just, first I want to thank you for having us here. I think that this,
right back at you.
Right back
for being
at
here.
you. You've given us a platform, and we've been trying to utilize that as much as possible, educating the community, what it's like for a person that's formerly incarcerated returning to the community. As I said earlier, the community has been open arms, has been very open to the idea of helping people transition back safely and successfully. One thing that that I really enjoy about this job is it's just about the contact, the human contact that we have on a daily basis. and changing, we're changing lives. And we're not only changing lives of the clients that we're dealing with, but we're changing, the next generation. And I think that, my one request to the community is that, just continue being open, open-minded, open arms to people that are returning to the community. Right now in Berkshire County, I feel that I need to say that, there's a large percentage of unhoused individuals, and, there's a lack of housing and services. So I just would encourage some of the local landlords to give our clients a chance. And to the employers out there, I would just ask that, you give someone that's formerly incarcerated a chance. And I think that through our program, being able to provide assistance and case management and navigation services to our clients and, helping them stabilize out in the community, I think that you'll find that some of the clients that we deal with are great, great individuals that just need that opportunity to make those changes to their
And
life.
this is a housing that is not about them and us.
Right.
It is about all of us, and this is a huge, another area that I'm very involved in.
Yeah.
Another huge, we could just do a program on that.
Absolutely.
We can do as many programs as you
Absolutely.
want.
Even to that point though, Rachel, there's people who were given that opportunity who are thriving right now, formerly incarcerated, who are engaged in our program and doing that peer support. And if no one gave them that opportunity, they wouldn't be doing that peer work that they're doing, working in our community, have master's degree in social work, who are working for human service agencies based on living experience and education, and it's valuable. So
It's fantastic. It's just, I am so grateful. Thank you to both of you for being guests on Solutions Rising. I can't wait till the next program.
Absolutely.
This is really, really important.
Well, thank you.
And if each one of us picked up one problem and solved it, imagine the incredible view we would all have of Solutions Rising. Please be part of the solution. The information today from Sgt Lindsay Maynard and Mr. Jason Cuyler is really important, and I hope you take it to heart and think about the ways that you could be part of the solution. Thank you.